Hey everyone, welcome back to BrowncoatNerd. Today we've got a gun review, but not on a surplus firearm. Weird. What we got here is a Rock Island Armory 1911 A1, which is basically their take on the classic government model 1911 A1. This is my first 1911, so I'm not really going to dive into the history of the 1911. I don't want to get anything wrong. Pretty much just going to touch on this and go over some of the basics of 1911, just kind of a 1911 for dummies, if you will. So the 1911, it's been around forever, obviously, since 1911. And the first government model, I believe, was just simply the M1911. And that was used, of course, in World War One. Some point after World War One, I'm thinking 1925, that year might be wrong, do not quote me on that. They switched over to the M1911 A1, which had improvements. Now real quick, some of those improvements were the trigger is now further back into the frame. The original M1911, it was a little further out. These little scallops here right next to the trigger, those were not there on the original model. The sights were slightly changed. Those are pretty much the same though. The hammer, there was some minor changes in that. The grip safety, this beaver tail, was shorter. They extended a little bit for the A1. And then the back strap on the M1911 was flat like this, but smooth. Didn't have any texture on it. And then for the A1, they added a arched back strap or mainspring housing that would either have straight lines like this on there or a kind of diamond texture on it. And they added that arched one later on. I believe they said to is supposed to be easier to aim. And really nowadays everyone's gone back to the flat mainspring housing. So it's kind of weird. It's like they had it one way, decided it was better to do it the other way, and then decided it was better the first way they had it. With that, obviously there are some differences that are not A1 true, if you will. And obviously, like I said, the mainspring housing here is flat rather than arched. The ejection port has been modified, and you'll see that on a lot of the modern 1911s. They'll do different things here. The idea is to improve extraction, prevent any kind of jam issues there. So this does have that. I kind of wish they would have kept that original, because that one's very, obvious. You can see that right away. That was, after I purchased this gun, I kind of started to have buyer's remorse, thinking, I should have gotten another A1 copy, that had the original style ejection port, but I think I'm going to be able to live with it. The other thing is, most of the videos I've seen on this, they show the mag well here, and it's kind of flared out. This one, really not so much. Like one side is slightly, and then the other side isn't at all. So I don't know if that's something that they're kind of not messing with. Rock Island Armory has done a lot of subtle changes over the years to their line of firearms, so that might be one of the things they're dropping. Which, that one either way really doesn't bug me. And also, of course, it comes with this extended 8-round mag, whereas the original mags would have been flush fit. And this is an ACT mag or an ACT mag, which is fun to say because I feel like I'm in Mars Attacks. ACT mag. Anyways, so when I first took this gun out, let's see, I've taken it out 3 times. The first time I took it out, I believe I fired 100 rounds through it, just with the original mag, and it was rough. I was having issues almost every single mag, whether the slide locking open when the mag wasn't empty, to failure to feeds. I don't think I had any stovepiping or anything, but it was just rough. The trigger was heavy. The gun just felt really gritty, and a lot of that is, I think, just because of this Parkerization. I mean, it is just layered on there on every part. And so you just kind of got to shoot it, wear that away. By the end of the session of that first 100 rounds, I was a little nervous, but I knew this was a new gun. Online, a lot of people will say that Rock Island recommends that you fire 200 to 500 rounds for a break-in. I flipped through the owner's manual looking specifically for any kind of a break-in procedure. And I really didn't come across anything in the manual. Maybe they say something on their website. I know, just kind of generalized, a lot of times people say new guns need 500 rounds shot through them to break in. I'm a surplus guy, so I really don't run into this too often. So the next weekend I took it out again. I can't remember how many rounds I fired that weekend. I think it was like just a little over 50. I only had a box of ammo with me and some loaded mags. And that second time I went out, by the time I was done, I was like, okay, now I'm getting excited. I only had a few failure to feeds. And the accuracy, also, the first time I took it out, I was having to do a lot of Kentucky windage to hit the bullseye with it. But it was grouping, consistently. So once I figured out where I needed to aim, all was good. But it was off quite a bit. The second time I took it out, I didn't have to adjust my aim as much. It was still there. But once again, once I found where I needed to aim, the groupings were pretty good and tight. And so then the third time I took it out, I had ordered a few things from Liberty Tree Collectors, including this reproduction holster. I believe this is a used reproduction holster. It's not really too bad. One of the things I hate about reproductions, other than them not being, historically true, is they always look brand new. And it's stupid when you got this beautifully battle-worn gun or whatever, and then you have this brand new shiny sling or holster that's a reproduction to go along with it, and it just looks goofy. So I kind of like the idea of getting one that was a little used. And like I said, you look at this, it really doesn't necessarily look used, but whatever. And then I also purchased this mag pouch from them, which I was kind of surprised. According to their website, this is a legitimate World War I era mag pouch. And this guy ran me $28. And maybe it's reproduction. This thing is in great shape. The canvas isn't like really stiff or brittle or anything. So I don't know. I kind of wonder if this is reproduction. Either way, that really doesn't bug me. This gun is a new production. So getting repo stuff for this gun, I do have some plans on this. You'll see that in part 2. The reproduction stuff really doesn't bug me that much. But I also picked up some mags from Liberty Tree Collectors while I was eating this stuff. This one here was advertised as a government mag, and it came in like a kind of a heavy-duty cardboard paper sealed pouch. And it's kind of weird too. I feel like it's like missing a hole here. So this other mag, it's kind of, it's weird. So they when you load this up, you only see 6 of the 7 rounds. Your standard magazine is 7 rounds. With the flush fit ones, and then with the one that it came with that actually is an 8-round magazine. And once again, if you're making an A1, like, why not just put it with a flush mag? But I get it. It's kind of an A1 plus. It's an A1 a little bit evolved with the ejection port and the extended mag. And mags aren't that expensive; they're easy to get. So whatever. This gun does come with 1 mag, which kind of sucks. I wish it came with 2. But anyways, so I took this mag out. These new mags I have here I only took out the last time I went shooting, which I shot roughly around like 80 rounds, I think. And one thing I discovered with 1911s, like I said, this is my first one, so kind of diving into this, you're going to hear people constantly talking about mags. I did not realize how picky apparently 1911s are with the mags that they will function with properly. And I saw a lot of people kind of talking specifically about these Rock Islands and them being extra picky about the mags. One thing I will say, this ACT mag or ACT mag that comes with, people either love these mags or absolutely hate them. They're made in Italy. I feel like all the good mags always come out of Italy. But that one, like I said, I really didn't have any issues with. This government mag, like I said, it only took out the last time I went shooting, so not really a durability test there, but I had absolutely 0 issues with the government mag, which made me happy, because even though this has 1 extra mag, these flush fit mags, I will say about the government mag, it's kind of weird, it does not want to go in. You have to push in the mag release. So not really sure what that's about. One time at the range I forgot about that and I kind of slammed it in there and it went in, but I don't want to do that. Don't want to break anything, but doesn't that look so much better? And then I got this mag here, nice little stainless steel one, which was advertised as a Zenith. And it's made in the US, which kind of threw me off. I'm familiar with Zenith, that makes a lot of like HK clones. And I believe they're based out of Turkey, so I don't know if this is affiliated with that company or if this is someone else or what. But I also kind of wanted a stainless steel mag. This mag here did come with this little, it's not even rubber, it's just like hard plastic base plate. And it's not a pinky extension. You know, at first I thought it'd go on, you know, like this with that lip sticking out, but it doesn't. It goes on like this. I guess just so, you know, if you're doing some speed shooting, you're not going to bang up your mag too much when it hits the ground. Just got two little screws. And it screws in there, but I don't plan on adding that at all. Took this mag out, once again, just the last time I went shooting, and had absolutely zero issues with it. So I am very, very happy there. And years ago when I got into surplus guns and started collecting, I wanted a 1911. I knew a actual World War II 1911 was out of my budget, especially then. So I started looking around at some of these other kind of A1 reproductions or clones, whatever you want to call them. And at the time, Rock Island was very split. People loved them, people hated them. I mean, it was like split right down the center. And back then, it was kind of this logo, but I mean, it was a huge billboard just all along that slide in that white lettering. And to me, that was just freaking hideous. Before that, it was kind of the same big billboard, but it was a roll mark. Luckily, all the new ones, it's just this little subtle logo at the back, which I much prefer over the other two. And so I really wanted to get one of these, but that giant lettering all along the side just kind of threw me off. And then I just kind of forgot about it and never came back to it. Until recently, because I have a project in store for this guy. But basically, Rock Island Armory, they're based out of the Philippines. These guns are imported by Arms Corps, so these do have an import mark. It's kind of weird. I purchased a brand new gun and I've got an import mark, right? But it's nice and subtle. It's down there. It's not an ugly electro pencil like we're used to on our surplus. But Rock Island has been around for quite a while in the Philippines, since 1905, under several different names. Basically, it started out as like a camping goods store. You could buy camping equipment, hunting equipment, including guns and ammo. And throughout the years, they just started to make their own firearms. And I believe they started making them like literally right before the beginning of World War II. So they didn't make firearms for too long before the Japanese came in and shut that down. But after World War II, they got things up and running again. I've seen a lot of people refer to how the machinery at Rock Island was actually set up by people at Colt and that they were trained by people at Colt. And you'll see a lot of people saying, you know, oh, you're basically buying a Colt when you buy one of these. I cannot find any like hard evidence as to that. I'm not sure how that started. And I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is true. I don't want to give out any misinformation. But you're going to hear that a lot. And I'm really curious as to the source of that, whether it's true or not. Like I said, I really couldn't find anything to 100% say, yes, that is true. And when I got this gun, I mean, the slide didn't move at all. After shooting it some, I mean, you can't see, I can barely feel it wiggle. I mean, it is really good fit and finish. A lot of that's probably due to all this Parkerization that's on there. But the last time I took it out, I don't know if I said this, I had absolutely zero issues with it other than with the freaking Act Mag. On one of the mag loads, the slide did lock open on the very last round. I'm pretty sure I'm not hitting that with my thumb. I'm trying to be very aware. I hear a lot of people talk about the 1911s are really easy to kind of bump that slide lock. So maybe I was gripping it wrong. But like I said, that was the only issue the whole day. Also, I no longer have to do any kind of Kentucky windage. I mean, I just aim at the bullseye and it hits the bullseye. Or really close to it, but that's on me. So anyways, like I said, they started around 1905. I believe it was 1985 when they first opened up a U.S. office. Let's see. So also, I believe these guys are the largest or one of the largest producers of 1911s today. So they do make a lot of different variations of this. I kind of feel like they do know what they're doing with the 1911s. They do have like a lot of target and tactical models. They also, looks like they've been changing their model names. So I'm not going to dive into all that. But usually what you see is this one here, which is their very basic plain Jane. It is the M1911 A1-FS for full size. Once again, if you do like a YouTube search for 1911 A1-FS, you're going to see a lot of videos on the tactical 1911s. And I think that's because they all have this title, but then they have like extra stuff added to the end to, you know, indicate the, you know, hammer, safety, trigger, sights, all that being changed out. Another thing that kills me is I'll see a lot of people doing videos on the A1, and they're talking about how they're going to do all these modifications to it, change out the safety, the trigger, talking about even like getting the slide milled so they can put in some dovetail sights. And if that's what you want to do, do not buy this model. Upgrade to the, I don't know if it's the tactical or rock or whatever model they call it now, but they have other models which have your Novak style sights. You're going to save a ton of money just by buying it with some of those upgrades on there than doing all that yourself. If that's the route you want to go, just do not get the A1 copy. Get the step up above that. And one thing I will say is those Novak style sights that they put on those, apparently it's like kind of a Rock Island specific dovetail size. I believe you can take your standard sights and, you know, modify them to fit. Also, some companies are making sights specifically for these Rock Islands because, I mean, they're a pretty freaking popular 1911, so they've caught on. So you can find drop-in sights for the higher grade models that have the Novak style sights on it. This is based off the Series 70 1911. Let's see, the frame is made from cast 4140 carbon steel, while the slide is made from forged 4140 steel. The trigger pull on this, when I first got this gun, like I said, the trigger was gritty, it was heavy, and that's one of the things I see a lot in videos is people talk about how amazing the trigger feel is and how light it is, even on the A1 model. And I'm just like, what the hell are these guys smoking? But let me tell you, every time I took this gun out to shoot it, that trigger just got lighter, it got smoother, and it's a very lovely trigger now. And I'm sitting right around 250, 280 rounds through it, I believe. So I would imagine it's going to get even probably a little bit better than that. I did use my Lyman trigger pull gauge on this one. Did not forget this time, guys. I'm getting better. My average trigger pull over 5 trigger pulls was 2 pounds and 14.8 ounces. So just under 3 pounds. That's more than that's a lot lighter than I was expecting from this guy. So very pleased with that. And like I said, the feel of the trigger has definitely smoothed out quite a bit as well. Now in the owner's manual, well, actually let me go over this real quick. This is what you get with the gun. Obviously it's a new gun, so you're going to get a hard case with the Rock Island logo on it. It's not form fitted. Some of the higher grade Rock Island 1911s do. This is just your very basic, you know, little foam insert, which, you know, honestly, I prefer these because I can use it for whatever handgun I'm taking to the range, you know, if I want to put it in a hard case. It doesn't just have to be this guy. So I'm fine with that. In that case, you get this little bottle of lubricant, which I'm going to go ahead and, I'm not real picky on the stuff, you know, the oil and cleaners I use on my guns. But I feel like anytime a gun comes with a bottle of oil like that, you might as well use that, especially for the break-in period. So I'll just use that up until I'm done, and then I'll go back to, you know, either Hoppies or rim oil, whatever I have lying around after I've gone through that. Also, it comes with this little pouch here that's got 2 spent cases in it, because you do need that in some states. Luckily, I live in a free state, so I don't got to bother with that. So I don't know how long this was made before it got, you know, test fired and all that, but we've got 2 dates on here, 8/9 of 19 and 8/12 of 19. I ordered this late in December, showed up at my FFL early in January. So this was both the last gun I bought in 2019 and I guess kind of the first gun I bought in 2020. So yeah, you get a pretty decent owner's manual here, whole lot of information, and this is a generic owner's manual for all of the models. So if you're curious about the different models, it does go over all of that here. Obviously you get the 1 8-round mag, and of course your branded trigger lock. So that's what she comes with. I will say in the owner's manual, it does mention that this gun is designed for ball ammo. If you want to use wad cutters, you will need to modify the ramp, the feed ramp. Doesn't really say anything about hollow points. And that's another thing, you'll see a lot of people talking about this gun. And it's either this gun absolutely will not fire hollow points, or they're saying, oh, hey, yeah, this gun shoots hollow points just fine. So I was very curious. Once again, I didn't have a whole lot of rounds. I had some of this Federal low recoil, was this Hydra-Shock? Personal defense. Yeah, Hydra-Shock. And I fired all of them except for 8 rounds. Let me get this box open here. And actually, the Hydra-Shock rounds are not in there, but it's a pretty wide hollow point, and it fed those just fine. And I will say the box advertises the low recoil. I had some regular ball ammo and some other hollow points out there, and I will say the Hydra-Shock, it did feel like it was lower recoil than the other stuff. The other hollow point I got was once again Federal. It was called Syntech, and I fired some of their full, I was going to say full metal jacket, but they're non-hollow point Syntech ammunition at 9mm, and it's always worked fine. And so I was kind of curious about this. It advertised like it breaks up in 3 different pieces. So yeah, and as you see, it's not real wide, so I figured this would feed through there pretty easily. And it did. Had no issues with any of the hollow point, well, with those 2 that I tried. Now, like I said, I fired the whole box of 20 minus 8. So not a real thorough test on the hollow points. But once again, you know, this gun probably isn't fully broken in. So I've got pretty good faith that it's going to be able to hold up to the hollow points just fine. All right. And then let's see, last but not least, I did pick this up from Classic Firearms for $417. Look at the price of 1911s. They are not cheap. I feel like this is a great deal. But once again, like I said, if you're looking at getting your first 1911 and you think you might want to, you know, play around with it and modify it quite a bit, I would not recommend getting the A1 model. Step up to, you know, the ones that have the nicer sights on it, because these are pretty, you know, basic, narrow sights. You could definitely use some upgrades there. But I was looking for the classic government look. So these quote-unquote crappier sights, you know, that's what I was looking for. That's what I wanted. So that's why I got this. But all in all, guys, I'm actually really happy with this gun. I look forward to shooting it more. I also look forward to doing my little project plan here, which will probably be, you know, a month or 2 before you see that. But I look forward very much to showing you. All right, guys, thank you for watching. If you like this, please like the video, or even subscribe to the channel. There might be some more videos on here you'll enjoy. All right, guys, stay shiny.